Hey guys, welcome to Built on Faith Homestead. If you'll remember, we did a few videos on our mini split system and installing it and using it for the house. I told you guys, technically speaking, it was just a shade undersized for our house, technically, because of the square footage, but it was really close. And so I went ahead and just went with it thinking it would probably work. And we want to tell you guys what we think of the unit, whether or not it keeps us cool, whether or not it works for us, and whether or not we would recommend it. And once again, this is AUX brand. I don't know how I'm supposed to say that. Aux, maybe? Brand. Mini split system from Lowe's. It's the 12,000 BTU. It's like 600-ish square foot heating and cooling system. This one both heats and cools. It is DIY-able. But you're going to need some tools in order to liven it up. You're going to need to buy a pump, a vacuum pump, and some gauges to do it all yourself. Or you'll have to have an HVAC guy come out and do it. This is on right now, running at, that looks like 86 to you, but unless it flips it around when I don't know. Anyway, it's at 68. I don't know if it's going to flip it around or if it's just like a mirror. I have no idea. But anyhow, 68 degrees, blowing out.
Alright, Justin wanted me to give you guys an opinion of our mini split system. So, in my opinion, I really liked it. I'm not just saying that. The only thing with it is it does have a little bit of trouble heating up in the lofts. It's not like unbearable, you know what I mean? The girls haven't ever even complained about it. I just noticed it was somewhat warmer up there. And maybe our bedroom, I think because it's tucked away a little bit from the unit. But other than that, I really like it. And like one day I was sweating really bad one day for some reason. I had cooked like earlier, and so it may have been a little warm from that. But I was sweating, and Justin, we turned it down a couple notches. He turned it down for me, and then it has a mode where it'll go like on turbo, the fan, so it'll blow harder, and it made a lot of difference. I thought I was probably within 10 to 15 minutes. I was comfortable. So it's been a blessing for us, and I really like it. So I would definitely recommend it to anybody else that was thinking about it. So thank you guys.
Baby, what do you think of the air conditioner? You don't like it? Why not?
Tell the truth.
You do like it? Yeah, you just being ornery. We would ask Leah, but Leah's napping. Yeah. So I will just second basically what my wife said. Is of course the lofts are higher, right? So I think the to the bottom of the lofts, it's like probably, I don't know, 6'8" or so. Just to show the loft heights here. There's the steps, there's the door, all the way up to there, and that's what we're trying to cool up there in those lofts. That's why we have that running all the time. And so the lofts are higher, and so they're a little warmer. They're a few degrees warmer. If you go up there with one of the kids, like Leah's little enough now, every once in a while when you put her up there to go put her to sleep, she wants somebody to cuddle with her, right? So you go up there and I just hold her hand, or Melissa goes up there and holds her hand while she falls asleep. And when I climb up there, like I can tell, right? It's a couple degrees warmer than it is down here. But it's still cool up there. And the fan, we've got a big ceiling fan, and we just leave it on, and that is what helps keep it fairly cool. It does struggle some with our bedroom. The reason why I think it struggles with our bedroom is because of how it's positioned. The way the unit's blowing air out. And I'll show you guys that here in just a minute. I wanted to show you guys why I think our bedroom's hard to cool sometimes. So here's the unit, and sitting where I'm sitting, here in the recliner, the air is blowing directly on you. It's my favorite seat in the house because I'm always hot. Never mind the trash bag of clothes on top of the wood stove. We know that's a fire hazard, but no need to worry. We're not burning any fires. That is Melissa going through some of the kids' clothes, trying to figure out what to keep. And those tubs right there are canning jars that we have to find places for still. And them things right there are my big flippers. But across the house, across the house, that inside that door right there is where our bedroom is. And so the unit blows air right out to this recliner here, basically. And then you have our bedroom right over here. So the air is not really being forced into our bedroom at all. One thing we have done is one of the little fans we bought for whenever we didn't have any air. And during the day, we put that fan on top of our dresser and point it into the bedroom to pool a little bit of cool air in there. And that seems to help for sure. But like I said, there's no vents, right? This is a ventless system. And so the air has to move naturally. And it just doesn't naturally want to go in there. Now, the bathroom, it does just fine in. And I think the reason why the bathroom does just fine is because, once again, this air is blowing directly here. And I'm sitting in the recliner right now. And it feels like there's a fan, like a pretty good fan blowing on me, right? Like, there's a pretty good chunk of air hitting me. And I think actually what's happening is it's hitting this back wall right behind this chair and then running air back into that bathroom. So I wanted to let you guys know why I think our bedroom is harder to cool. So we just put a fan in our room, and it's not like our room's hot, but it's kind of like when you go up in the lofts. You can just tell it's warmer in our room than any other room in the house. And it's just where it's facing, I think. As summer goes, I don't imagine it getting any hotter than this. We've had heat indexes up around 100 and above, right? 105, 110 type heat indexes. Hot, humid, actual air temperatures like 95, 96, 98, that kind of stuff. And so I don't imagine it having to have to work any harder than what it's been working. When it did get when it was running like mid 80s, we kept it on 70 and everybody was happy. We had to turn it down to 68 once it got up to run in that about 80 or to run in almost 100 degrees outside. We had to turn it down to 68. I want to say this. If you are buying one of these units, using them, and you're used to traditional central heat and air, when we first got ours, it like never shut off. And I was like, or very rarely does it shut off. And I was like, uh-oh, maybe I got it way too undersized. Like, this isn't good. And I got to reading on them. Something I should have done, I guess, before I purchased the unit. But I got to reading on the things, and turns out that's how they work so efficiently. So rather than cooling your house down, so say your central heat and air thermostat, you've got it set on 70 degrees, okay? What actually happens is it cools your house down to like 68. Even though your thermostat on the wall reads 70, it actually cools your house down to around 68-ish, right? But then it doesn't kick on until your house warms up to about 72. So then it works really, really hard to cool your house back down those 4 degrees, right? And then your house raises up 4 degrees. Now, it's not just the air temperature in your house that raises. It's the temperature of your couch and your chair and all that good stuff. And so you get them big surges of power whenever your units are running. The way these work is they run almost continuously. And Melissa spoke about turbo mode a while ago, so I hit the turbo mode, and it just blew like a hurricane for a while. Yeah, and it felt awesome in here really quickly. It didn't take long at all, did it, sweetie? No, it was a quick deal. And so, the fan, it's got an auto setting, and when you sit on the auto setting, it just kind of, every once in a while, when the house is hot, you stand in front of it in the afternoon, the thing's blowing pretty hard. Whenever you come out here of a night and it's all cool and the house is, cool and the sun's down, then it's just barely kind of blowing air. And that's how it regulates the temperature. It keeps it more constant so it doesn't use those big power surges. That's why this unit only runs on 100 and, so I want to say 110, but I think most people would call it 120. It only runs on 120 volt electric, right? So it's not too bad at all, and it works really well. Also, if you remember from our old video, our drain pipe doesn't quite reach the ground where we can get the water because it does constantly suck out humidity, and that's another way that it works really well in your, I'm trying to get my lighting right here. It does constantly suck out humidity. And so I've set a 5-gallon bucket underneath that tube, that drain tube, And in 24 hours right now, it'll fill that 5-gallon bucket. And actually, it will trickle over that bucket just a little bit. And I just use that water to water our rabbits or to water our garden or whatever, instead of wasting that 5 gallons of water, because it's clean, pure water. It's just water that gets condensed out of the air. That's the humidity in here. We do have exhaust fans above our stove that we need to run whenever we're cooking. We've got our washer and dryer in our bathroom, and we've been using our dryer because we don't have a clothesline here yet. Because we don't have a clothesline here. And so, right, it's best to shut the bathroom door, run those exhaust fans, keep the heat in there. When we're canning this summer, I told Melissa I could see us needing to take one of the fans we bought whenever we didn't have air conditioning and it was 90 degrees, and setting it down here and blowing cold air into the kitchen. Or maybe even setting it in the window of the kitchen and blowing air out of the kitchen. And that will draw, by blowing air out of the kitchen, it will draw air, cooler air into the kitchen while we're canning, just for the heat purposes. I can see that for sure. However, as far as I'm concerned, if somebody were doing something like this, or they wanted to look into mini split systems for their houses or something like that, so far anyway, I would say absolutely. Now, I don't know exactly how much it's going to hurt us on the electric bill yet, because we haven't ran that full cycle at these 100-degree heat on our electric bill yet. I know that we are running just as much electric as we did. I know we're in a tinier house, so we don't run as much lights as we used to, but we still have an electric oven. We still have an electric hot water heater. We still have washer and a dryer. We still got 2 deep freezers, a refrigerator, and now we're running a well. We used to not have to pay for running a well because we were on county water. And so I'm curious to see just exactly how much it's going to hurt on the electric bill. Hopefully it won't be too bad. But we also do a lot of cooking and all that stuff. And we've got 3 kids, and if we're not doing laundry every day, we're falling behind. So literally, Melissa says, falling behind if you don't do it every day, just about. And so I am curious to see how it does on our electric bill. However, once again, if somebody were wanting to do this, I'd recommend them. We love ours. It seems to work really good. I don't know if a person could turn it down to like 65 when they're canning and maybe just help keep the heat down. I don't know if you do it that way, whatever, because it was set on 70, and when I turned it down to 68, it was a noticeably cooler air.
So much better.
Yeah, noticeably. Yeah, noticeably cooler air coming out of the unit. And like I said, we've been really impressed by it so far. Would highly recommend it. Now, you got to remember, we may be a little bit, our measuring stick to being impressed by it, may be a little messed up, because we went through, what, about 2 weeks of 90-degree weather with no air conditioning?
Yeah.
Right, just running fans and those kinds of things. And so, but it was still getting down to like 60 at night, and so it wasn't too bad. But we remember those days. They're still pretty fresh in our mind. So we may be a little bad measuring stick there. But anyhow, once again, we'd recommend it. We want to thank you guys. I told you guys we'd try to do a review of the system. Once again, it was an AUX brand from Lowe's. It's not a high dollar brand. It may mess up on me today. I don't know. But it seems to be working for us so far. Thank you guys for watching. We'll catch up with you next time.